Hello and welcome back to the Penguin Magic Top 20 Countdown. I'm Erik Tate alongside my good buddy Nick Lacapo. We have an amazing show for you this week. We're going to be counting down the top 20 tricks. We're going to be taking viewer questions, and we're going to be having a very, very special guest, which I'm sure you've heard about on Facebook, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. Nick.
Yes.
This show this week is crazy.
Crazy. Every week it gets crazy. It's crazier every time, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Well, we haven't even done this show yet.
Yeah.
But how does it get any better than this one?
I have no idea.
I mean, next week I'm going to be sitting here saying the exact same thing, but I don't even know what that means yet. So it's amazing. Crazy show. Totally crazy show.
Wild. We've got, the production value keeps going up. We've got TVs behind us now.
Yeah.
We've got special guests in remotely.
Crazy.
We got a contest. We ran a contest last week where someone won a full set of the Deland, of the brand new Deland playing cards. We're going to be running the same contest again. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. If you played last week, you know you can play the same way this week, but we'll let those of you who know how to play the game get a jump in on it. Share the video right now, because when you share this video, that is an automatic entry into the contest and also an automatic entry into our hearts.
Oh, you're so poetic over
I know.
there. Yeah, right. No, that's a great way to put it. Sharing the video just helps out, and because our special guest is going to be earlier in the program tonight than later. So it's more important that we get people in now. Yeah. Because we don't want anybody to miss. Well, I mean, we all know who it is, right?
Yeah. Juan Tamariz is going to be joining us. He's our special guest on this show.
Yeah, Juan. Can't wait.
I feel like we've really ruined this show. We started with Mr. Tango was our very first guest. Our second guest is Juan Tamariz. Yes. So stay tuned next week when we have Doug Henning and Blackstone.
Yes. Well, should we tell them about the show in general? Here, let me tell you what's going on. So if you've never seen this show before, what we're doing here is we're breaking down the top 20 tricks that appear on Penguin Magic. If you've been to penguinmagic.com, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Head on over there and check out some of the magic that we have to offer. But if you go to Penguin, on the right-hand side is the top 20 tricks of the day. What we talk about here are the top 20 tricks of the week. So we kind of dove deep, figured out the metrics behind it all, and figured out what the best 20 tricks were this week.
The important thing to know here is that we're moneyballing magic.
Yes.
There are spreadsheets involved. There are spreadsheets with pivot tables and all kinds of different things. We really get into it. And we should give some honorable mentions right now, because there have been some tricks that are not on the show this week that have been on the show for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes.
Instaforce is one of those that's been in there. I know you were just telling me you're going to be on a Twitch stream soon, and you're going to be using Instaforce in the Twitch stream.
Can't wait to use. I mean, I've used Instaforce once already, but I'm excited to use Instaforce again coming up. I'm not quite sure when that's going to air yet. But also, we had an appearance from Paul Cummins last week in True Triumph, which is a great trick.
It's really good. I think it was actually my pick of the week last week that I decided I was going to buy. Also, Real Change, which you taught, but is also a really fantastic trick.
Ones to hundreds.
No gimmicks.
No gimmicks. Amazing. Virtual Triumph, which is come on and off the show. Yeah. We don't need to talk about that anymore. It's the go-to virtual trick probably of the year. We will do an award show some point this year. Not sure when, but that'll win. No Choice Wallet. That's actually in the top 20 right now. It was kind of falling off. I just kind of took it out this week because we've already talked about it about 4 or 5 times at this point.
And there's a couple of things that are coming in that are going to be in the show quite frequently. Yep. And of course, Dreambox.
Same situation as the No Choice Wallet. Just something different. We talked about it already a couple times. So
before we get into it this week, I just want to say we can see the chat. We've also got Popa on the Popa cam. Popa, why don't you bring yourself in right here? Yep, there he is. This is, wow, I need to reduce the brightness on that. But Mr. Popa will be coming in out. Nick Popa, a great member of the team here. He's going to be monitoring the chat, and if he sees some questions that we need to address, he's going to pop them in there. Also, I can see the chat here. I see Dan Scott. Hi, Dan. Yes, we are happy and we are staying healthy. And also, just want to give a quick shout out to Johnny Silver, who says that this show is what Magic needs right now. Johnny, thank you. You are 100% correct.
We see you, yes.
Let's get into it, Nick.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So we're going to start off here. Coming in at number 20 this week is CTG Red. This is Coin to Glass by Peter Eggink. This is a fantastic trick. We've seen other tricks like this before, but what you need to know is that this is a signed coin that appears inside of a glass that has been upturned onto a box of cards. The big innovation here, it's very hands-off. This is the most hands-off version of this trick that has ever come out. I wish we had one here to show.
Well, it's still on pre-order at the moment.
Yeah.
So we, maybe we'll have one in an upcoming show.
But what we can tell you is that we've seen the instructional video behind this, so that while we haven't actually laid our hands on a physical prop, we do know how it works, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. If any of you out there are familiar with Leap, I think it's a similar thing that's come out recently.
Yes.
It works very much the same way, except that you can do it completely hands-free. This is working on a remote, we should just say.
Yeah, I think it's okay for us to say that there is a remote involved in this. That this is an electronic device, but it's really cleverly designed.
Yeah. So it's specially designed to go. The device that you're getting is going to go inside of that card box. One interesting note on that card box is that it is more sturdy than an actual cardboard card box that you would normally get. So that way it holds up a little bit longer on it'll hold up every time you perform it. However, it's just more sturdy than a regular card box. That's worth noting. You're also going to get a special device that goes on the inside of it. It's all pre-made. It's all ready to go. You're going to get all the supplies that you need for it to work.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that's nice about this, and I'm not sure if you just said this or not, I was responding to something in the chat, but it's not just coins. You can do rings, a bill.
Yeah, he teaches with a bill and a ring on the tutorial as well, which is interesting, because if you're familiar with the method of this, you're like, well, how does that work exactly, right? This is something, man, I'm excited to play with these things once I can get back into a proper close-up show arena or forum. Once these electronic things appearing under the glass things started coming out over the last year, I really wanted to work with one. And but for me, it's something that you would do in a scripted close-up show.
Yeah.
As a really powerful one-of moment.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And I can't wait to actually play with this one in particular because of the remote feature. Right, because I want to create one of those moments in one show that I'm working on in particular.
Yeah, it's just you haven't been able to really get that hands-off feature of it, which is, I know that is sort of what we keep talking about here with this one, but that changes the game.
It does.
This particular thing, because there's always been something that's a little weird about having to turn a glass upside down on top of a deck of cards. But if you can script that moment into your show or your walk around set and be able to be away from it so that no one immediately goes to the magician, you can remove that step where people think, oh, the magician is what caused this.
Yeah.
So if the magician is away from it, I like remote control devices. I just really do. There's a lot of really great ways to trigger them that people can't see that make it just that much more magical.
Oh, and let me mention, I know that we ran out of time on this. I'm not sure if our little buzzer is working tonight. We'll find out at some point here. But one thing I wanted to mention, because we had talked about possibly talking about magic demos. I think that might be a topic later on, a different thing. There's a moment in this demo where Peter the coin is in his hand. We actually showed it on the clip here.
Yeah.
And that coin just vanishes completely. Now, what's interesting is I'm almost 99% sure he's doing that for real in that clip. There's a real way to do that.
Yes.
However, I really like that he took the time to make that a particularly stunning vanish in this demo.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times as magicians, we get hung up on the whole if you see me just do a retention vanish there, it kind of puts you off from the trick, where it really shouldn't. You shouldn't let that moment hold you back from something that you might really like, right? Because you know what that one thing is. Oh, it's a retention vanish, so that doesn't mean it's the same coin that, get rid of that. Thank you, Peter, for putting an awesome vanish in the demo. Basically, what I wanted to say.
It's really great. I mean, the more we can have better demos, because it's still an honest demo, which is really important, because I think that's the thing that people get hung up on is they go, wow, it's clearly a camera trick, or they deceptively edited demos. And the thing is, I've actually done this type of vanish in front of a lay audience and made it look that good, and it really freaks them out.
Yeah.
And so it's great to have that in there.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to number 19. Number 19 is exciting. Before we go any further here, this is the time to hit that share button on this video, because we're going to be talking about Verbal Magic by Juan Tamariz. You ever heard of this guy?
I think so. He rings a bit of a bell. I think he may have, My memory isn't as good as it used to be in regards to Spanish card magicians, but I think I might be able to remember it.
Yeah, so this book, Verbal Magic, is if just to jog your memory, this guy wrote possibly, maybe the book of the year at this point, and he wrote it a long time ago, right?
Well,
but this year in particular, it's really quite relevant.
What is actually very interesting about this book is that it's different from a lot of the other Tamariz books, in that what Tamariz and I believe his daughter did was that they took the actual scripts from the radio shows where this appeared. And then they put it on the page. So it reads very differently from any other Tamariz book. You can actually fool yourself while you're reading the book. There's magic that happens in your hands, in your head.
Because all this material is completely interactive.
And Juan takes great pains to also point out that you don't just have to do this over the phone or through a screen like a virtual show or something. You can do this for real people in their hands. And actually, I know we have 2 minutes left here, but why don't we actually just go ahead and bring our guest on?
Yeah, let's bring him on.
Mr. Popa, let's get into our guest segment right now. Juan Tamariz, thanks so much for joining us here on the Penguin Magic Live Top 20 Countdown. Thank you so much for joining us. We are huge fans of your book, Verbal Magic. We both read it, we both love it. And but what's really great about this is that you can do magic in the book, not on the radio, anywhere, in real life, on camera, all over the place.
Yes, it's for radio, for personal situation also, because some people think that it's only material to do by radio, by phone. No, it's possible. At this time with the pandemic program, it's very good to do tricks like this, but it's possible to do in live for all the people. I do a lot of times with some 2 or 3 or 4 or 10, 20 people in front of me and doing the things.
Well, we're really big fans of the book. Would you mind performing a trick from the book with us? We'd love to do one.
No, I don't like. I like. Then you have a deck of cards, yes?
Yeah.
And at home you must have a deck of cards. This is the incredible thing that happens from time to time. And now, the idea is like this: is you must pick 4 red cards and 4 black cards. 4 red cards and 4 black cards. Any red and any black, no the other card, no the other card. And that in life there are situations that are good things and bad things, good and wrong decisions and good decisions, right decisions and wrong. But you don't know how to separate the wrong things, the true and the lies. It's very difficult. But I have a gift, and I am going to pass to you now, exactly now. You are going to be kept, you can do this, to separate the bad things, the lies and the truth. And they are going to do with the card, 8 cards. For instance, these are the bad things, the red one, and the black one are the good things, or the true and the lie. And then the first thing is to put situations that are mixed, totally mixed. Then the thing is to put 1 red, 1 black, face up. 1 red, 1 black, 1 red, 1 black. There are totally interlaced conditions, really suffer, but you and me in the same condition. Then you pick the packet and you turn over face down, and you cut and complete. Then if at the beginning where is a black in the bottom, now perhaps it's a black or red, we don't know. Perhaps Erik has black, right? And cut again. And now the idea is to spell your name in each letter to pass from top to bottom. For instance, I do first, Juan, J-U-A-N, and you do the same with your name. Pass one by one from top to bottom, yes? Perfect. I saw Erik. Perfect. You do very quickly. Yes. Applause for you. And now the idea is, can you tell me, Erik, one number in between 1 and 8?
6.
6. You pass 6 cards in the table, from top to the table, one by one. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody put 6 cards. Everybody, 6 cards. 6 cards. 6. And now you are going to choose one card. Perhaps the top card of the small packet in the hand, or the bottom one, or the top in the table, or the bottom one. It's necessary one on the top or one on the bottom. If you choose the top of this packet, you pass to the bottom. If you do in this packet, you pass to the bottom or the bottom to the top. Only one card. To pass in one of the packet, the top card to the bottom or opposite. And now join the packet in any order. Perhaps the table on top or perhaps the hand packet on top. It's up to you, totally up to you. You are doing different things, then you are missing different things. And again, cut and complete, and cut and complete. And now another small number, for instance, 3, 5, which one you prefer?
3.
3. You pass to the table 1, 2, 3 cards from top one by one. Then join like you prefer, the top, the hand packet on top or the hand packet on bottom. And now cut and complete. Now easy. And now very difficult thing. I am going to do and you are going to do 3 packets, dealing card one by one from left to right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Excuse me. 2, 3, and 1 and 2. You do. The last packet is a small one because there are no 9 cards. There are a small packet. You pick the small packet, the packet in the right, and put in the center on top of the central packet, and both on top of the other packet. And then you cut and complete. And now one of you are going to do Erik. You do again, but Nick, you don't do. Some of you do, some of you do. There is again, cut and complete, and deal 3 packets. 1, 2, 3 from left to right, Then the card are mixed different ways. And pick the small packet and put on top of the central packet, on top of the left packet. And then cut and complete. If you like to do at home one more time, you do. If you don't like, you don't do. Some people do 3 times, some people do 2 times. One day did 220 times. And we spent 2 days waiting for her. Very nice at the end, but a little bit boring, yes. Okay, perhaps you do 2 or 3 times, you do 1 time, okay. And now we are going to do only 2 piles. 1 to the left, 1 to the card to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Then we have 4 and 4. Pick one of the packet, only one, and shuffle a little bit, only one packet. The other packet don't touch, no, don't touch. And then put on top, no, not necessary, don't do nothing. Make the thing that I do because I am going to pass my gift to you. Yes! You feel something, Erik? You feel something? Need you feel that? No. You can separate the bad things from the good thing, the wrong thing, the wrong. I make like this, and I am going to see, don't do nothing, and I have the 4 red cards, separate from the bad card, the true and the lies, separate. Me, I have the gift. Can you see, Erik, your card? Can you turn over your card?
That's crazy. That's madness.
Yes, and the other is black, yes, and you, yes.
How did?
So you did different. Then, thank you very much. You have this power. You are the real life to be more wisdom, more wise, because this card very much.
Yes.
By the way, I tell you that I did a lot of this kind of effects to some of my friends. For instance, in one page I have the picture in the house of Herb Sarrow, and it's Michael Weber, Ricky Jay, Steve Freeman, and other people. And I do for a lot of magicians. Great magician is like Lehman. You feel that it's possible to have some power. And the people, the layman usually came and grabbed me, okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Juan Tamariz, the maestro. Thank you so much for performing this with us, and thanks so much for sharing this with us. We're all big fans of the book here, and I know everybody who's watching this is just going crazy right now because they're also separating
of
cars.
different effects with small objects, with car, with textbook, and a lot of things like that.
Yeah, you could do. There's so much great magic in this book. Thank you so much for joining us via Skype today, and we hope we can have you back sometime.
Yes, of course, of course.
Whew. Thanks so much to Juan Tamariz for joining us. And I saw something there in the chat. We were both terrified that we were going to mess it up.
Yeah, there is a lot of pressure these days, like when you're watching virtual magic tricks. You're like, oh, I hope I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, especially like when you're working with a legend like Juan Tamariz. Like he's clearly doing it well,
of course.
correct, it's awesome. And then I'm just going, because there's a point there where I was like, did you do it? Am I supposed to do it?
But I mean, his routines are so well designed that it does make you feel like, well, there's no way that this is going to sort out, right?
Very, very Spanish school style of magic. So this is Verbal Magic by Juan Tamariz. I've got the book right here. Really fantastic book. Highly recommend checking it out. And as a sneak peek to you guys, Dan Harlan has taken some of his favorite things in here, and we filmed some videos with Dan that are going to be coming out in the next few months or so, where Dan really dives into not just the tricks themselves, but how they work and why they work. And with some of these things, you learn the method on here, but Dan really breaks down the exact math that goes into it. So it's really helpful if you want to come up with your own verbal magic stuff.
Yeah, and we should also mention that the trick that Juan performed tonight was called Wisdom, which is I think it's the seventh trick in there. But yes, Wisdom is the name of that one. So if you want to take a look at it, if you have the book at home, go for it.
Verbal Magic, really, really fantastic trick here, but I think we need to move on.
Yeah, we need to move on.
Let's move on right now to number 18. This is Rainmaker by Karl Hein. This is a fantastic trick where you present 1, 2, 3, 4 bills, you hold them up, and then suddenly those 4 bills turn into a big stack of cash. This is a fantastic trick. You can see it's really easy to do. Karl teaches you not only how to do it, but how to build the gimmick. Here he is doing it with hundreds. On what show is this, Nick?
This is the Pete Holmes show, man. Pete Holmes. You remember Pete Holmes? Do you know who Pete Holmes is?
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time.
Well, he's a comedian, but also an amateur magician.
Oh.
He loves magic. And Karl, I think, was on that show a couple times. That was a fun show that I don't think it really picked up, so it was only on here and there and maybe on an obscure channel. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. But he had a bunch of magic guests on there. We were talking about Pete Holmes there. He's got a great magic. He did this is a side note, but he's got a great stand-up piece about magicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't do it. You'll have to look it up later.
I will.
But anyway, Rainmaker is a fantastic trick.
It's really great.
It's fantastic. I was thinking about this recently, and it's funny that it ended up in the Cool Box this week, which is why it's in the top 20. It was in the Cool Box earlier this week. Because I was playing around with real change, the 1s to 100s. Yeah. And it kind of rang a bell where I'm like, oh, remember that trick that Karl Hein brought here where you would take the 1s and then they just turn into
it's
the
a
biggest
giant
stack of cash you can make.
It's amazing. It's really good. It works with any bills so long as the bills are all the same size.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be like going from like if your currency has different sizes, you can increase the quantity of the currency provided you're using all the same currency.
Yeah, there's a little bit of arts and crafts involved. Not a lot. It's very minimal. Karl walks through all of it. You just need a glue stick, really. Yeah. I mean, you're not making money out of thin air. No. Right? So you're going to have to provide your own bills. I've said before on this show, it's really interesting. There's some great websites right now that exist where make fake prop money. Yeah. And they make awesome looking stacks of cash. This would be a great trick to grab, $100 bills. Yeah. And be able to do that on your Instagram. It'd be so fun.
This is really neat. Actually, I saw a lecture by Karl where he used this in conjunction with a few other different money style effects. And it really caught everyone off guard because it's just, all of a sudden, there's a giant stack of cash in your hand. And I can't emphasize how easy it is to do. It's really great.
Karl is a worker. Yeah. I mean, he works all the time. If he's going to do something like this on television, it's not just, it's not like me going on TV to do a trick that we're doing on Penguin Magic, right? Karl is choosing this material because it's visual, it works,
Yeah.
and it's strong, right? So
I think we're out of time on the we're out of time on the Rainmaker, but I feel like, I mean, it's understandable. It was in the top 20 this week because it's in the cool box, but it's one of those things that I can easily see coming back into the cool box.
no, I was glad to see it.
It'll make the
I
rounds.
was glad to see it. Number 17. Number 17 is number 17. It's called the Muldoon Match by our friend Paul Gordon over from England. This is a it's a stunning prediction of 3 cards. You lay a card on the table. You ask your spectator to name what they think it is. You'll lay another card on the table. You ask your spectator to name what you think that one is. And as this is going along, you're laying down the mate of those cards that they're naming. It's a hard one to describe out loud, but essentially what happens is the spectator has gotten all 3 cards correct. This is a variation of a hand on an old trick.
Yeah, this trick has been around the block, and this is something I remember when you first showed this to me. I remember
because I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's a really good trick, but I remember watching it and I was like, oh, I think I know how this works because I remember something. It was like one of the very first card tricks that someone had shown me, but as I was walking down that path in my head, then there's a gimmick involved, and you fooled me with the gimmick.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, wait a minute, it can't be that because of this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So it's one of these types of tricks where you may think you know what's going on when you watch the performance, but then you're going to get fooled by it, and it's well worth what is this, $9.95?
Yeah,
it's $10. It's well worth it to throw this in your sort of repertoire because you're going to be doing this with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, in the last few weeks, we've had a bunch of Paul Gordon tricks on this show.
Yeah.
I was familiar with Paul, but not all that familiar with Paul. And I've really appreciated the small additions he's made to some classic effects. And it's weird because I can't say exactly what this trick has roots in because then it just kind of discredits. We're all magicians out there, right? So it's like, if I hear it's the 21 card trick, maybe I'm not interested. And I don't want you to think that because it's that good.
No, I think what's really important to keep in mind with this is you are right. They are small details that Paul is changing. But those small details make an enormous difference.
Yeah.
And it's those small details that take what was an okay sort of so-so trick and then put it into like, wow, this is a real worker and a real fooler. And it's those small details take work to find and to put in, and man, Paul has really done the work on this.
He really has. And this also can easily adapt to photographs, ESP cards, and even, what was the other one I was going to say? Tarot cards, which this would kill. You know?
Oh, it's so good. Totally, it's just,
hey.
We get the bell.
The bell works.
You know, right. It's interesting. As we do this show, we're slowly improving things, and some of them are like creature comforts for ourselves, and the bell is one of them because in weeks past we've had the timer here would stop, but we would just steamroll right over it.
No, the bell's been in production since the first show.
Oh yeah.
It's finally working.
Well, let's move on to number 16. This is the Smoke Watch Pro by Hal Miranda. This is a fantastic new design on something that he has previously produced, but what you are getting here is a new, thin, stylish watch design. It also includes online instructions. The marquee features here: wireless charging, refill liquid, and beautiful packaging. Hal has really done the work here to make this a lot more comfortable to wear. In the previous versions of the Smoke Watch, the battery was like hidden inside of the band, and so it was not as comfortable to wear, a little bit bulky, not very flexible. Now that battery lives inside of the watch itself. You've got all kinds of different customization options and all kinds of different trigger options. There's a button hidden in the watch band or the bracelet of the watch that you can use to trigger it, but you can also trigger it by the crown. I mean, Hal Miranda has really stepped up his game here. He took something that was already good and made it a lot better.
Yeah, he was kind of the first one out there, right? When it came to the smoke watches. Am I correct in saying? I'm not quite sure if it was.
I believe you are. I'm a little fuzzy on the timeline.
Yeah. Because I think Lynx had one out, and then he also had one out at the same time. I'm not quite sure.
I'm getting Mr. Popa. You can bring yourself on the screen and join us if you have the real work on this.
So. If I remember correctly, the Lynx Smoke Watch is the original version, and then the second version is the smartwatch version. So
all of those were by Hal Miranda, though, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then the Vapor Watch came out after that.
Yes,
and
yeah.
there's been and the Vapor Watch had sort of mixed reviews.
Yeah.
But it solved a lot of problems that the previous versions of Smoke Watches had, and this has just really gone further. So this is a new iteration, much better.
Yeah, I know that Hal was really excited to get a chance to really nail this down.
Yeah.
And I have not seen this yet. I believe this is also on pre-order at the moment.
I want to get my hands on it.
But I know you're the Smoke Watch guy, so what do you think?
I'm really excited about this because I use Smoke devices in all of my performances, and I'm pretty tightly married to one right now that I like. But having worked with the Link Smoke Watch in the past, I knew the quality of it. There were just a couple of things that bothered me, and how is solved these with this. I will say it is my understanding from the ad copy in this that it's not remote controlled, which is something that's important to me. But Hal makes some pretty good arguments for why he's not got a remote control in this, and so I will defer to him on this. Because he's added additional ways to trigger it.
I would say if anybody's got questions about this particular product, we have a lot of information about it. It's not worth going through it all right this second, but we do have time set aside, in the middle of this program. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the watch going forward, okay? But we do have also a contest going on.
Yes, we
right?
do.
Is that right?
Yeah, we do have a contest going on right now. We're having a contest for the brand new Deland decks. These are both the Daisy deck and the Nifty deck. These are beautiful cards, marked. They're marked in some very interesting ways. They come in a standard version and a stripper version, and you have an opportunity to win all 4 of them. The way you do that is you comment below in the chat, "I want a deck of cards." You only get to enter once, but if you want to enter, you can just type "I want a deck of cards" in the chat. If you want a second entry into it, then share this video on your page before the end of the broadcast. We take all of the people who shared, all of the people who commented "I want a deck," we put them through a random sort of generator thing, and then we will contact that person afterwards. We had a winner last week, we're going to get a winner this week, and then we will ship 4 of these decks out to you. You'll get 2 blue and 2 reds, 1 of each style, and one stripper and 1 regular.
Yeah, and we'll be breaking down those decks of cards and everything there is to know about them. And actually, just a second, if I had thought about it, maybe I would have put them next. I don't know, but we'll move on, because up next we do have Chris Korn Live number 2. Chris Korn is one of Penguin Live's one of the earliest lectures, so it's been a long time since we've had him in studio, but he came by recently for his second live lecture where he tips the real work on the stuff that he's been doing for real audiences for the last, I don't know, I'm just gonna go say 20 years, I'm not quite sure. There are some pieces of magic in this lecture that a lot of top pros out there are super, super, super excited about. There's a couple. I watched this lecture this morning. I know Erik and Popa were here when it was filmed, but I watched it this morning, and man, there's a couple pieces in here that I'm like, I want to work on that badly.
Yeah.
These are the types of routines that they're so polished, so well thought out, that you are getting a masterclass in almost just about every presentation that there is here. I know you're going to talk about this coin trick in just a second. I guess the one I really liked as well is Kennedy Said So, which is Chris Korn's work on the translocation. But tell us about the 1 to the 10th power.
Oh, 1 to the 10th power is really, really cool. So what it is it's a coin flurry. So it starts out as a 1 coin routine with a coin vanishing and reappearing in various areas. So it's he vanishes it here, it reappears over here, pushes it in the elbow, pops out. But then it takes a very weird turn because suddenly he's got 2 coins. Then he's got 3. Then he's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 coins.
Chris Korn produces 10 coins, and then after he produces 10 coins, every single one of them vanishes.
Right.
And what's so cool about this is that it's real, and he's not using gimmicks. This is a pure sleight of hand, not for the faint of heart.
No, this is some heavy lifting.
This is something that I think, Daniel Garcia has yelled at him a number of times.
Eric Jones, I saw
release
made a
the work.
comment about this.
Yeah.
I saw Eric Mead talking about this the other day.
Yeah. This is one of those things that Chris has released variations of it, but what he has never released is the real work.
full work, yeah.
And that's what this is. And I know, I've known Chris since I lived in Los Angeles more than a decade ago, and I worked with Chris a couple of times. And so I can tell you, he's actually giving the real stuff this time.
Yeah,
which
you
is,
can tell.
Which is so cool.
You can tell, because we did film this in the middle of all this craziness, and he came here just ready to film. He was ready to give it all away, and
Yes.
he did. So this is a really great lecture. You should consider picking it up.
I also want to say the beginnings, middles, and ends portion is really interesting because he gives some different ways to load coins and pick up stacks of coins and stuff that are not necessarily routines, but they're utility moves and devices that you are gonna want to do, that you're gonna want to add to your own repertoire. But it's honestly it's one of those lectures that I think is going to get into a running for the lecture of the year. Not because,
No, I can see that,
just
yeah.
because the stuff that he's giving away is crazy coveted.
You can tell.
You never get this stuff from a pro.
And I can tell that, it's crept up the top 20 list.
Yeah.
It started low and it's been creeping ever since it came out. It's really starting to snowball a little bit. I think it's going to, you're going to hear a lot more about it in the next coming weeks. Yeah. I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
It's definitely not going away anytime soon. But right now, we need to move on to number 14. This is the Deland's Centennial Edition playing cards. These are beautiful reproductions of the original Deland cards. We worked very, very hard with an expert on marked decks, Phil Smith, and I think that we should get right into the playing cards.
If we can just toss the overhead up, we can show you what's going on with these. Each deck, well, let's talk about. We'll put them in the box here, and we'll just talk about them as we go. The tuck box has been redesigned from the original. So bring it in there. We have a new design on the tuck box. This is the, I can't quite remember which, this is the Daisy and then the Nifty, okay? So we have both. I'm going to put them on the table so we're not moving around.
The Daisy is more like the original marking system that a lot of people are familiar with the mechanical deck.
Yeah, I believe the seals are maybe the original design. I can't quite remember what the thing is. Maybe you can look up that piece of information on there.
Yeah, the tuck boxes are all new. It's 100% custom designs that deliver a vintage vibe, and they have those custom stickers.
Yeah, so it's a full, there's no border on these.
What is also interesting is that they are, not only are they printed by the USPCC on classic stock, these are also traditionally cut. The faces are also a vintage style. So when you pull these out and you have the vintage back, but then you turn them over and you see a modern face, that's not going to happen.
You're not going to be able to tell, but they kind of have a little bit of bleed to it, right? The ink isn't perfect. It's going to come stacked in Stebbins, and that's because this is a marked deck. You're going to get the little thing that tells you what the markings mean. In fact, I'll give it the little test here so you guys can see.
Yeah, Kevin Relic, who also worked on these, is in the chat right now, and he's actually telling us that this is a brand new seal,
right?
Which is
brand new seal.
Keeping in with the vintage design.
Well, so if you're not familiar, the Deland decks not only tell you the card's identity on the back, but it tells you what the next card is. It tells you the number of cards above it, the number of cards left in the deck, and the previous card.
Yeah,
it's because it's marked in 5 different places. You'll see it's marked 5 places up here and 5 places on the bottom, right? That's those marks that you were just seeing. And before we run out of time, I'll open up the other deck of cards so you can see. These come in regular, and they also come in stripper deck as well.
Yeah, and I've messed around. I do a lot with stripper work, and I've messed around with some interest with these, and the stripping on these is really nice. They come cut with that, and it's because they're traditionally cut and they are cut for stripper work. It is just a really nice deck to work with.
Right. So you will get, for the contest below, of course, you just have to say, I want a deck in the chat. So say, I want a deck. And if you want an additional entry, just share this video. That way you'll get an additional entry into the contest. And we do have 1 of each deck for you. You get 2, you get the Daisy deck regular, the Nifty deck regular, the Nifty deck stripper, and the Daisy deck stripper. You will get all 4 sealed, ready to go. They're a lot of fun. I've been playing with them at my house.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, no, man, there's something really cool. I love Dice 7 Stack anyway, so these are really fun. It's exciting that we get to give stuff away on this show.
We got to get moving on. We look forward to everyone entering the contest and giving these out. Also, just wanted to say, be sure to like the page so that you get notifications on whenever Penguin Magic goes live, so that you can find out about more giveaways that we're doing and when Nick and I are talking about other stuff. We do have a viewer questions coming up there. So if you have any questions about stuff that we've talked about on the show or other things that you want us to discuss, be sure to drop those in the chat. And when we get to those, Nick and I will be sure to give those a bit of a discussion. But right now, let's move on to number 13. This is Pressure Force by Danny De Ortiz. What you are getting here is a very interesting and in-depth look at the way Danny De Ortiz forces cards. It is a lot of this stuff he has talked about on his Penguin Magic Live Lecture 1 and Penguin Magic Live Lecture 2, and quite a bit in the Danny De Ortiz 3. But there's a couple of new concepts in here that Danny has never revealed before, which is very interesting, and some interesting ideas with the force that he's doing here.
Yeah, this was an interesting download. I took a look at it. I feel like Danny has done like this strange arc, right, where you get really excited about Danny De Ortiz the first time you watch him. You're like, holy crap, because he beats the hell out of you. Yeah. And then you learn some of the stuff, and man, if that's your first introduction into Spanish card magic, you're like blown away. Yeah. I feel like lately, Danny's really put out some kind of commercial stuff. Yeah. We're going to be talking about him again later in the show. But this timing force, I think, when I first learned it, when he was first doing it in Danny De Ortiz 1 and 2 on Penguin Live, and then of course on 3, it still kind of felt like not out of my reach. If I wanted to put the work in, I could learn this style force that he's doing. Yeah. But he's got some new twists on it right now in this download that I don't even know that I would try, but I'm like, wow, he's really bridging that gap between, oh, it's just Danny. Danny can do those things. I can't do these things. Danny can do them. But you're starting to go, wow, actually, I can do this stuff. I don't know if it's maybe his teaching style has improved. I've always thought he's a great teacher. Yeah. But there's something that's clicking with me lately, and I think with other people as well, which is why this has become popular. Yeah.
It's super interesting. It's
a card force. It's a card force. That's what we're talking about here. I don't know if we said that already.
Yeah, this isn't like a trick or like a series of tricks that you're going to learn. You are learning the work on. Should we say the type?
It's
of
a timing force. Yeah, that's what you're learning. I mean, I think it's pretty evident if you're a Danny student. And I should mention that if you are a Danny student, you know what's going on here. But I think, unfortunately, I don't know. I think if you are a Danny student, you have to scoop up everything that's out there.
I kind of agree.
I think you do.
You know, I've always really enjoyed
whether you've seen it before or not.
Yeah, no, I know we're running out of time here, so I just want to end this by saying I have a theory about Spanish card magicians, is that you can find out when they have truly achieved their mastery of their art and their craft when they get their hat.
Yes, when they get their hat.
Yeah, because Juan has his purple top hat, Danny has his sock. That's when you know true Spanish card master. They get their own quirky hat.
He made it. Also, shout out to some of the magicians in the trailer there. I don't know where that was filmed.
Yeah.
But there was some faces in that I recognized.
I was like,
I see you, Cedric. I see you, Ricardo.
Yeah. When Berdini was in there.
Dan, I see you out there. Yeah, come on now. I don't know. Where was that filmed? Where was I?
I have no idea. This is, oh man. Well, let's move on to number 12. This is going to be no surprise to the regular viewers of this show. We are talking about mental dice now. This is a fantastic set of electronic dice. You get 3 different dice and a little LCD panel. The dice and the LCD panel wirelessly charge, and when you roll, each of the dice are different colors. When you roll those dice, the number facing up shows up on the LCD panel. You can hide it in your hand, in your pocket, in the bottom of a deck of cards. This is a really well put together set of dice.
I mean, what can't you say about this?
If 5 years ago, this would have been $1,000.
Yes, I mean we've talked about. I mean we have to do the show like nobody's seen it before, Eric. Right?
Yep.
So I mean, here's the thing.
Mental dice again.
Well, here's why. Is because on Joe Rogan last week, David Blaine was on. If you haven't watched, it's a fantastic episode of Joe Rogan. And David does a dice trick on there. Yeah. And, I'm smart enough to know that David Blaine doesn't use gimmicks. He just does everything for real.
Yeah, I mean, I think regular viewers probably are familiar with this, but David Blaine is a witch.
Yeah, yeah. And so he was on there. He just knows, and I don't know how he knows, but he does. He's not using this by any means. No. We can only create gimmicks to replicate what David Blaine does.
Exactly.
And this is exactly what mental dice can do, but and beyond, because there's multiple colors. I mean, this is one of those things. The possibilities are endless. I hate saying that, but it is true.
I think one of the things that's really important to highlight with this gimmick is that you can recharge it, which may seem like something that it's like, why are you talking about the ability to recharge it?
Right.
But like dice like this used to be made, and you couldn't charge them. You literally would have to send your device back, and they would send you a new dice, and they would just throw the old ones away. Or I don't know what they would do.
I don't know.
You had to buy, or you had to return and get a new set. You were not able to recharge dice like this.
Well, this is $300, which is a big price tag. But you're getting 3 dice, the screen. The previous versions of this were over $1,000.
Yeah.
And it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it. Like, I was like always debating whether to buy one of these. And then this came out, and it's really just like, wow. I mean, the value that you're going to get here is so good. I don't know why we don't have one on this show yet.
Yeah.
We need to get one.
We do.
We need to get
really
one.
do. Oh my God.
And I want one.
One quick shout out in the chat here. I saw a question come in from Erik Smearden. Erik, how's it going? It's a guy I play Apex Legends with online. He said, what kind of routine would you do with mental dice? The first thing I would do upon getting a sentimental dice would be to call up Paul Vigil and say, please tell me what I should do with these.
That sounds about right. Devastating device. I mean, people roll a number, you can tell them what it is. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Let's move on to number 11. Number 11 is exciting. This is called Fooled, I think. I've seen different titles for this, but I believe it's just called Fuller. Maybe Fuller. I'm not quite even sure. This is an exciting card trick that has a lot of process of randomization, and at the very end, you're able to find the spectator's card along with the 4 aces, which end up, I believe, in the spectator's hand here in this clip. You can watch a full presentation of this trick on Penguin Magic, so you can actually see the whole thing from start to finish. And this is a trick that Joseph B. has kept from the Magic community for many years because it's fooled all of his Magic friends. It's kind of the thing he's been doing at conventions to fool everybody. And it is a fooler.
Yeah.
If you watch like I said, watch the performance on Penguin Magic, this isn't something that you're going to be able to do like virtually. It kind of feels like maybe it's a virtual trick. It's not. It's something for in person, but it's easy to do. There's no sleight of hand, and it has a really. I've seen things that are similar, but he's kind of gone further with it and taken it to a place where it's so. You've been led down the garden path so far where I'm so lost at this point. I have no idea how this works. He finds the card, and then with a surprise ending of the 4 aces.
Let me tell you what the headline is for this trick. This is in our partner program.
Yes.
And what's really interesting about this is that when you look at stuff that is in the top 20, a lot of times you see Penguin products, a lot of times you see Murphy's products. Here what you're seeing is an independently produced trick, an independently produced video and set of instructions that was then submitted to our partner program. It came through, and now it's in the top 20. And so I think the trick is great, you should get it, but the main takeaway you should also get from this is that if you're sitting at home right now and you're saying to yourself, man, here's a trick that I invented and that I could do, I can't get a company to pick it up or look at it, I don't even know what to do, you can produce it yourself and put it out through Penguin through the partner program.
Yeah.
And the terms are pretty good. If you go to the Penguin Magic website and you go on the right-hand side all the way to the bottom, there's a little orange block. There's a penguin in there. I think he might even have like a hammer in one of his hands. It's Corbus. Hi, Corbus. This is hi, Corbus. But there's the whole set of instructions on there on how to submit stuff to the Penguin Partner Program.
Yeah.
And I highly encourage you to do that because we've seen some great tricks come through the program and some great partner products have shown up in this show.
And nothing special happened here. I mean, it's just a good trick. If you watch the performance, it's a good trick. So take a look at it.
Moving on to number 10. This is Think of One by Alan Kronzek. He is a New York Times best-selling author and a fantastic magician. I first saw this trick at the legendary 4F convention where Alan Kronzek was walking around fooling the daylights out of people with it. It's a really interesting trick because the method is something that when you find out the method, you will be shocked because you will say to yourself, I would never have thought to use that method for this kind of trick. And really what's going on here is that you show the audience members the deck, you have them think of a card, and then you tell them.
You tell them what it is.
You tell them the card that they thought of.
Man. I love this trick.
Yeah.
and this has been a surprising one because this has been in the top 20 now for weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks, maybe a month or more.
Yeah.
This has roots in. This is the type of trick that has like kind of some multiple outs, but not really. I mean, they are so.
It's almost the exact opposite.
Yeah,
of
it's the
outs.
best version of multiple out. Like it's somewhere in that world of like jazz magic, where you don't have to be having your brain in 6 different places. It's all really tight and well contained. Yeah. And you're still divining a thought of card.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So this was also in Alan's book that we featured on here a number of times, and it was a little bit of a sleeper hit from the book because people who knew how good it was from the book did it a lot.
Well, I think the video really helps.
Yeah, the video really does help because you can see real people reacting to this, which is really interesting.
And it, of course, has nothing to do with the way it's written. You can learn it that way. I mean,
the book's on Penguin Magic right now. The book's like $15. It's a super good book. There's like 9 tricks in it. They're all well put out. A few of those tricks are going to appear on Penguin Magic soon. This is one of them, and the videos in the book complement each other really well because you can see the way Alan performs it and how the trick actually goes. Yeah. But with the book, with some of the stuff that Alan does that is not quite procedure based, but there is some things that you need to, some scripting that you need to know.
Yeah, it's really
a great
nice.
companion piece.
It's wonderful to watch him present a piece of magic.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with Alan before he came here, and then in seeing him actually talk to people and the way that he interacts, wow, there's a lot to learn here. To be able to pick up the download and the book for $25, I mean, come on. I mean, that's a hit deal. Yeah. So I'm excited to see more from Alan. I know that we have more coming up. Yeah. Moving on to number 9. This is from our good friend Nathan Kranzo. This is Voodoo number 2, and what this is a card trick where you have a spectator select and sign a card, and you also introduce a business card. That business card gets folded by the spectator after their card is put back in the deck, and then you discover whatever happens to the business card happens to their card. They find their card folded inside the deck, and then they're given the choice to either burn or tear their card. In this case, the spectator chose to have it burned, and then they open up their hand and they find that the business card has also been torched. And if you look at this lady's reaction here on the left, you'll know. This is one of those where you know right away if you've watched a lot of Magic that, oh man, this is a worker. This is a big time trick that gets probably massive reactions. Yeah. This is an older trick from Kranzo. It was buried in one of his older DVDs. He's put some new work on it, and we've shined it up a little bit and gave it the credit it deserves in its own download.
It's a really good trick.
It's really
good. It's funny. We watched it here in the studio and we filmed it, and then we took him out to a bar not far from here. This is all shot last year, I think, and he did this trick, and and I actually saw the different outcomes with this, because this is a question that has come up a lot in forums online and also here in the chat on the show. Is people have said like you say, well, what if they say tear the card, or what if they say something else to the card, because you're giving them options as to what to do to the card, and then you're doing the same thing to the business card that makes it happen to the card. Nate covers all of that.
Yeah,
he covers everything that you need to know about how to get your audience to say, not only say what you want, but also have them say literally anything and still the outcome happen with the card. It's a little word salady right there, but what I want to say is people are questioning, what if your audience says something else? Nate has an answer for you. And that's the real big takeaway.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that come up. Nate's one of the best teachers in Magic, period. I mean, if you see something that Nate's offering, you're going to get excellent instruction on it. So everything's going to be covered no matter what. I don't know what else there is to say about this type of trick, because if I have to go out and do a walk around set tomorrow, which I hope at some point I am, this is something that I'm going to throw in because it's already using a skill set that I have. Right? So pick this one up if it looks interesting to you, because it's got a lot of value to it.
So I'm actually going to jump us back. We don't need to change the overlays over here, Mr. Popa.
Yeah, we missed the viewer questions.
We missed the viewer questions. And so I wanted to jump back here, and there was a couple of questions here. First from Russ Wag, what skill level is Think of One? Low skill level.
Low.
No.
None. I mean, there's no moves, right? Not at all.
There's there is a move, but it's a very easy move to do.
Yeah, right.
It's very, very simple.
Barely a move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put that at the easy. It's more just being clever in your head than anything.
Actually, so our moderator on the Penguin Magic, I'm not sure if this is Josh. This is probably Josh Birch. It's either Josh or Nick Popa. Said it's low skill level, intermediate scripting.
Intermediate brain level.
Yeah, intermediate brain level.
Yeah.
Definitely intermediate brain level is what's going on there. But we're going to cover in the viewer questions was magic demos, I think.
Well, we were talking about it a little bit at the beginning there when I was mentioning Peter Egging putting the, actually, I don't know. There's a moment in that card to glass video where the coin just seemingly vanishes from his hand, right? And I don't believe Peter's actually using special effects there. It definitely looks like special effects. I have a feeling he's using a practical effect to make that coin vanish. But that's the type of thing that sometimes you'll see comments about online where it's like, it's just, I don't want to, we can talk more about this at some point. This is something that comes up a lot, is people talking about honest magic trailers and dishonest magic trailers, because we're the ones that make them. Yeah. Right, and I would really like to start that conversation between the two parties about why the choices are, like, if you guys have any questions about choices in magic demos that have been made even recently, I'm happy to answer them, because there's always a reason, especially the stuff that comes out of our camp, as to why everything looks the way that it does.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to note that Penguin Magic has, we actually have two filming units. We have P3 Magic here in Columbus, Ohio, which is the beautiful studio that we're in right now. We've also got P3 Europe. We have a film unit in Europe that films a lot of interesting magic in England, stuff from England, Spain, Germany, all kinds of magicians over there. They end up in England and they film over there when we can't get them all the way to the US. So there's actually two different groups of people who are doing that.
Yeah.
There are, another question coming up here is, when are we going to have a Max again? We have tentative plans for 2021, but we're not laying anything concrete because the world is crazy right now. Everything is really crazy, so we've got some tentative plans for 2021, but obviously not for the rest of the year because of different things that are going on. And then I saw one other thing here. Just another question saying, when am I going to be able to go to a Max again? And again, hopefully we're going to be out next year, because Nick and I have both been planning workshops for it. Our workshops are basically ready to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like a whole other world to think about, all the work that we were doing on the Max events. I mean, the Max events this year had, I don't even want to talk about it because it's so sad, but it was Sean Farquhar, David Regal, Jay Sankey, and Dan Harlan were the headliners, and us two, hey, maybe the next Max we can do this show live.
We should definitely do this show live. Yes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Man.
Live stream from the Max.
Yeah, live stream with a live audience? Oh, man, it's going to be great. Now I want to do Max. Yes. We do the five regions, west, east, south, central, all that stuff. We'll be back. It'll happen again. It's just when we can. One
other question, and then I think we need to get back to the main show. The question is from Stan Runyon, are you ever going to have P3 t-shirts? And all I have to say is we do have P3 t-shirts.
Careful, Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Don't worry. We do have P3 t-shirts. We just don't have them for sale.
We need to get...
Well, so let's talk a little bit about what was going on with this space before the pandemic hit.
Sure.
So before the pandemic hit, when you purchased a Penguin Live act, one of the things you saw was a full live performance by the working pro in front of a live studio audience. And that's here in Columbus, Ohio. We're actually pretty close to the OSU campus, so these are real audiences. They're different audiences every week. They come in, there's refreshments, they sit down, then we do a real show and film it.
Yep.
And one of the things that we had actually talked about doing was the studio was not really set up for a close-up show.
No.
So you can't see it right now, but I'm pointing over there. We were building a close-up theater, and actually, if you've purchased some of the downloads recently, you actually seen you've seen part of that studio. So Crazy Cash was filmed in there.
Yeah.
I think there's a
Well, Pierce Maiden.
Pierce Maiden was filmed in there.
A lot of the newer tutorials have been.
A lot of the newer tutorials were filmed where our new close-up theater was going to be, but then the other thing that was going to happen was our front room area where people waited to get into the show was going to get turned into a magic shop, and there was going to to be P3 merch in there.
Yeah, we were working on, somebody was putting together some merch, and but all that's out the window at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe one day soon we'll have them.
Eventually in the future, but you know what? Without the pandemic, you wouldn't have gotten this show.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very, very, very true.
All right.
Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on to number 8. This is Nicholas Lawrence wallet. This is a fantastic new wallet. It is an everyday minimalist wallet, and the really interesting thing that this does is it does switches, it does visual changes, it does a variety of magic routines that look and feel effortless. And Nicholas Lawrence has done some really interesting work in here. This was on pre-order for quite some time. Now I believe it's out, and people are actually getting it.
Yeah, I ordered this. I just hadn't gotten it in time, so I should have it next week. I'm assuming it's going to be in the top 20 next week. But this wallet has a unique secret.
Yeah.
This isn't something that has existed really before. It kind of, when you know, like Nicholas was worked here for quite a while with us.
Yeah.
So when you see the method behind this, it's very Nicholas Lawrence, right? It's interesting. Here's what I can say about this gimmick. There's like a pocket in here. There's a good example of this in the video where he puts a full $1 inside the wallet, and then is handed to the spectator, and the spectator dumps out 4 quarters. This is not. I've had a lot of people ask me, is this similar to Quiver, which is the switching wallet? It's a fantastic wallet, and it yes and no. That $1 is no longer in the wallet. It's gone. It really is gone. Same with all those visual switches that are happening where the credit card changes into the money and everything. There is something that's happening, let's just say behind the wallet, that makes everything look as good as it does.
Yeah.
It's thin, it works, it's got a lot of... This wallet offers visual changes unlike other Magic wallets. Typically all Magic wallets they don't do the same thing, but they're trying to accomplish most of the same thing. What do you think?
You know, I'm really interested because, so the Razor wallet is my everyday carry wallet. I really like the Razor wallet because of how minimalist it is. I don't carry cash a lot anymore. But what I really like about this thing is that Nicholas actually thought to include an out to lunch principle, which is something that I actually liked. And
I know you do that, right?
So I redesigned my business cards in order to take advantage of the out to lunch principle on one side, but then be able to actually write stuff on the other side, and so I'm kind of interested in this wallet because I was using Out to Dinner, which was a really old like business card clip that it replaced the rubber bands, and the Out to Lunch principle is just really good. I think it's well.
I'm excited to get my hands on it.
Me too. I want to play with it.
There's so much visual stuff, and I do know that there was an issue with the tutorial with this.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I was just about to bring that up. Hughes Kivrock, we see you there in the chat asking. We didn't, so there was an issue with the tutorials, but the question is that are we going to work with Nicholas to get it? And the answer to that is, this is not a Penguin product, and so we don't.
Yeah, when we get it from Nicholas, we'll have it. I do know he had a little bit of a family emergency over the last couple weeks, so. Nicholas works really hard. I have no doubt that we will be getting a new tutorial from Nicholas anytime, whenever he can finish it. That's not something I would be concerned about at all. There's a question here in the chat from Frank Sauce. Do you carry any other effects in your Razor wallet?
In my Razor wallet, so I actually don't use the Razor wallet as a Magic wallet, with the one exception that I do an ID switch, and the spectator's ID ends up inside my Razor wallet. I haven't released the workings on this yet, and I'm reluctant to do so, just because it's this gets incredible reactions from my audience members, and I don't know, maybe if you guys bully me enough, I'll do it. But so what else?
Well, you know, it was funny. Sorry, I had to change. I had to turn the laptop back on. No sense in.
Oh, there it is. Hey, look at our beautiful.
Lost our sign. I opened I did find my Razor wallet like this morning when I was digging through something, and I found a great, just another. I kept a packet trick in it. One thing about the Razor wallet, it is sized to fit playing cards.
Yes.
Like really well. It's not tight. They fit in there really nice. And I found the old smoke and mirrors packet trick, the one with the mirrors on the back of it.
Oh, you bought that at Genie, didn't you?
I bought it at
We were at a convention together.
It was at Magic Live last
No,
year.
it was Magic Live because we were down at the coffee shop.
I bought it at Houdini's.
You were like, hey, check this out.
Yeah, what a good trick. But let's move on to number 7. Number 7, I'm really excited about. This is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is also known as the coin bite, which is when you can borrow a quarter from your audience and you go ahead, take a giant bite out of the quarter. You can show it to your crowd. It's got a bunch of bite marks on it. And then you, lack of a better word, spit it back on top and it visually restores. This was popularized by David Blaine on his Street Magic special. It's been around. It originally appeared in Bobo's Modern Coin Magic, but now there's a lot of modern editions. Rick Lax has put together some really cool, man, look at how good that looks. We dropping the piece on top of the coin.
That's even slow-mo.
Yeah.
That looks sick.
I got a lot to say about this because we just re-promoted this, and there's something really exciting here about the Bitcoin, and I brought it. So let's go to the overhead here. I'm going to dump some stuff out here on the table, so just ignore most of it because I'm going to talk about all of it. And there's one of it. Okay, there we go. So I think, for the most part, Eric, that most people are familiar with the coin bite gimmick. And what it is, if you haven't seen it though, is that it is a folding coin. And I don't really mind exposing what's going on here. I think most of us know, but this is a folding quarter. Now, it's been specifically designed for the coin bite, right? Because it's typically, in the past, it's been done with a folding coin. This only folds on one edge. And it's also been designed to look like it's been bitten off, all right? Now, that's that. But what's really exciting is the new innovation with the Forever Band.
This is something that I am very excited about.
Yes.
I'm a little bit of a plastic nerd, and this is a really interesting band, specifically because this one, the old dental band, if you left it in your coin and after a while it would deteriorate, and then you would, I think every one of us has had that experience where they had to get an X-Acto knife out and then dig all of the old gunk out of the band. This band will not deteriorate. It's got a shelf life of like 30 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is a game changer. It really is, because we've all been there. You take the coin out and it falls apart. Like I'm going to learn that new flipper coin routine, and you take out your flipper coin and you have to put a new band in it. This one will stay there as good as new all the time. The coin bite gimmick also comes with the extra piece. We're going to go a little bit longer on this one for sure.
You know what, Popo? Why don't you throw another 3-minute timer on this one?
The extra piece also comes with it, so you can do the thing where it comes out of your mouth, or you can do all those visual drops that Rick Lax was doing.
I think it's also important to note that the extra piece is actually cut, but it doesn't have a ridge on the side.
Yeah.
So if you do something where you actually like bite this out, and then you want to hand out the extra piece, there's nothing that's going to lead as the audience member is examining that piece, there's nothing that's going to lead them back to the rubber band method.
Yeah, I just love the fact that this is something that's going to last you forever. Not that there's anything wrong with these. So let's also say that this coin with the Forever Band is made by Roy Coopers.
Yes.
He's the one that designed. This isn't a band that you can find over the counter. He actually designed and manufactured this specifically for folding coins, because that's how passionate he is about custom coin gaffs. This, of course, is the one that you're accustomed to. That's just like a dental band. If you buy the Bitcoin without the Forever Band, you're still going to get a great coin. That's going to be a Tango coin as well. Let me just show you a couple of the other coins that Roy Coopers makes with the Forever Band. This, of course, is this is for the quarter size. This is for the $50.
Again, custom designed for the coins themselves.
Right.
This is not something that he's buying from a separate vendor or anything like that, or existing. These are made for it.
You're not losing anything by having the Forever Band. You're only gaining quality in your coin. You're not losing elasticity or anything like that. Like, here's a flipper coin, right? I just give it a toss in the air and it changes into one, right? And also, I don't think Roy would mind. He makes a fantastic, coin and bottle $50 here. This is going to fold on two sides, and this is also with the Forever Band. So you're never going to have to worry about, I haven't done a close-up gig in a while. I want to do coin and bottle. And you break out your coin and bottle $50, and all of a sudden you're changing rubber bands in it.
I
You
think
know what I mean?
The coin and bottle one, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. The coin and bottle one, I think, is the Forever Band is the most important innovation for the coin and bottle, specifically because your rubber band is going to deteriorate faster when you're doing coin and bottle as a worker. Because I know when I was doing a lot of restaurants, I would do coin and bottle, and I was doing coin and bottle in beer bottles and wine bottles, and the bottle was empty. I would put it in, and then I would get it back out, and you're still going to get beer and wine and liquor and stuff all over it. And the over-the-counter, like dental rubber bands will still work and still last.
They'll work great.
But they're not going to stand up to the acidic qualities of the wine, the alcohol in the beer, or whatever it is.
Yeah, no matter what you
wine
choose.
doesn't have alcohol in it, but that Forever Band, I've seen the polymers behind that, and I used to work for a plastics company. I know that this is good.
Yeah,
this is
good.
really, really good.
But no matter what you decide, you're not going wrong. This is a classic effect.
Yeah.
They're both coins are beautifully made by Mr. Tango and by Roy Cooper's.
Yeah,
So
and
the best in the business.
And
really.
we should say that if you buy some of Mr. Tango's coins, and at some point your coin comes apart, you can use the Forever Band in them.
And I would also mention, I mentioned this in the tutorial as well, that if you do want any coin in particular, don't be ever shy to reach out to these manufacturers like Mr. Tango or Roy Cooper or any of them, because they will make you custom stuff.
Special shout out to Mr. Tango and his internal band systems. They're really, really interesting and really cool.
Yeah. Oh, they make great stuff. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Let's move on to number 6. This is Christopher Carter Live. This was a live lecture that was early hit the top 20 and hasn't left the top 20. People all over the place.
It's been here for almost 2 months.
Yeah, almost 2 months. It's got, I think it's still the case. It's nothing but 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews, yeah.
Yeah, but what you're getting here is a working mentalist who has been working some of the biggest corporate events, the biggest colleges all over the country. And not only do you get a fantastic live lecture where I think, Nick, you hosted this one?
I did.
You hosted this one, but you also get live performance footage of Christopher Carter performing in some of these colleges, in some of these corporate environments, and at Chicago Magic Lounge.
Yeah,
so you're getting like really, really nice performances in front of really live audiences and seeing the kind of reactions that this can get. And I think this would not be us talking about this particular live act if we didn't say the cell phone trick is off the chain.
People, I got messages. Johnny Silver, who was watching earlier, I don't know if he's still out there, he was asking me this week, sent me a couple messages about the cell phone trick. Look, this lecture is one of the best Penguin Live lectures filmed. I mean, there's a lot of great Penguin Lives. You guys all know that. But as far as something, man, if you want to see what Mentalism performed live looks like, modern, look no further. This is the one. There's a handful that I could recommend. This one's probably going to be number one for quite a while. Let's talk about some of the tricks that are on this download.
Yeah, the tossed out deck routine is really solid. He goes into exactly how he scripts it, because what he's sharing with you with the tossed out deck is nothing new if you've done tossed out deck before.
No, none of this stuff is new.
What
right?
he's sharing with you is a routine that is worked and really whipped into shape.
The 3-billet routine, I've come around. I think that's my favorite routine on the whole thing. And
Really?
it's like direct mentalism.
Yeah.
I could never see myself doing a trick like this until I watched Christopher Carter do it. Staple gun roulette, holy crap, man, with real staple guns, real staples.
His handling of the Pegasus page might be one of my favorite handlings of the Pegasus page. It's super good. It's
good. And it's got like a dramatic feel to it where it gets really intimate and close. Ringtone is that cell phone trick we were talking about. We've tried to talk about that a couple times. I don't think words do it justice. You need to buy the download so that you can see how good it is. Everybody's talking about it right now.
When you see him perform Ringtone, you're immediately going to want to put it into your show.
Yeah, it has a home. Yeah.
The broom and the watch. This is a PK effect for stage that plays huge.
It's an animated broom.
It's crazy. It's super good.
We've said it a bunch.
Yeah.
We're going to have an awards show
Yeah.
some point at the end of this year.
Yeah.
This is going to be in the running for Lecture of the Year, along with Mark James and probably Chris Korn at this point, for sure. But it's early in the year.
We will see.
We will see. We will see.
Now it's time to move on.
Oh, is this?
It's time to move on to one of our favorite new parts of the show. This is Show and Tell. Every week, the P3 live team, I think we're the P3 live team now.
Yeah.
The P3 live stream team is going to do a show and tell. We are all avid collectors of magic props. We're all a little bit sentimental, and we keep things from specific shows. and we're going to show and tell some stuff from our personal collections.
Yeah, it gives us a chance to show off the junk that we keep around, right? So, why not?
Do you want to go first?
Do you want me to go first?
I want you to go first. I went
All
first
right.
last week, almost burned the place down.
All right.
This
all right.
week, it's
That's
easy.
true.
Yeah.
So you guys know most likely that I do a lot of finger magic. Not just this old gem. I don't know what this looks like from here. I'm at a weird angle here. Watch this. What? Oh man, that looked good.
That would be amazing.
A lot of the roots on that came from Mayor Yedid's Finger Fantasies. I was a big Mayor Yedid fan, well, still am.
Yeah.
I actually learned his entire stand-up act with doing, this is how I learned this original thing in general, where you'd make each finger disappear one at a time, right? You can, I'm not going to do the whole thing here, but you can make that one disappear.
It's still so good.
I know it's so good. However, if you're familiar with that routine, it uses a couple gimmicks, and I happened to just find my gimmicks that I had made when I was doing this routine.
We were hanging out outside before the show. We were trying to get some stuff together.
Yeah, I just had this in the trunk of my
Nick
car.
had this in the trunk of his car, which is what's even funnier. It's so good.
So if you've never seen the routine, I'll save the one piece for it. But there is an amazing moment here. Let me actually kind of do it.
Cut over to me.
That'll
so
be the
Nick can
right.
set it
That'll be the
up.
right. Well,
Okay.
yeah, cut to Eric real quick.
Yeah,
Let me
so
get a deep breath on this thing.
the Mary Yedid original routine is really, really good, and Nick does it well, but with the gimmicks, it's even better. Let's go back to Nick.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. So normally you'd have a knife.
Yeah.
Right here, and the idea is the pinky's already come on and off a bunch of times, but you're gonna cut the pinky off this time. So I'd have a big knife, and then that would just fall right off, and you see the pinky actually fall and hit the floor, right?
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I had found, and so I know we don't have like a really nice close on this, but this is I had a friend, his name was Curtis Molman. Shout out to Curtis. I know you're not watching this, but Curtis was a special effects designer for Universal Studios, and he actually took a mold of my pinky and cast it for me. These are filled with cotton, so it's super squishy. And if you've ever seen Mayor's full routine, he actually ends with a full string of pinky fingers, like cut off bloody pinky fingers, and there it is right there. That's my pinky strung together with cotton thread, and you can actually see the cotton up in here. I used to do this. I did it live many
good.
times. Fantastic routine. Shout out to Mayor. Mayor has never seen this. I don't know if he's going to see this tonight. Maybe tag Mayor or something.
Who in the chat is going to share this video on Mayor's?
Mayor, I made it. Okay, I made it. I have to be the only person, right? I have to be. I can't. I don't know. But shout out to Mayor. He's a genius in our field. Who should we go? Let's go to Popa.
Yeah,
Popa, what do you got?
Let's go.
Or is he even ready? I have no idea. I might have
Let's
to
bring the
run that
Popa
on
cam in. Bring the Popa cam in. Yep.
Hey everybody. So this may be hard to see on this camera, but I'll try my best.
You know what? Why don't you
Actually,
come out here?
Yeah, I'll throw this over here for the overhead. I'll turn that off for a second.
So we're gonna tell you what. I'll switch with Popa and actually man the cameras and bring him onto the screen here.
Ooh.
What? I don't even know what you brought.
So.
Oh, is that okay?
Here we go. So
Put
we're
it
gonna
right here.
Right here, we're gonna do
Yeah.
this for overhead.
Yeah, you
so,
have to go overhead with it.
Right
Turn
here.
around.
This is the ticket stub from Chris Angel Mind Freak Show when Erik, the capo, and I went out to Vegas at the beginning of this year.
Feels like a million years
I know,
ago.
it's crazy. We got the opportunity to fly out to Vegas and film a Penguin Live with none other than Chris Angel and Lance Burton.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
What a trip that was.
It was an awesome trip, and this is something that's really cool to me because Chris Angel was the magician that got me started in magic.
Right.
I got his magic kit when I was 10 years old for Christmas, and it was that kit that sparked the magic bug in me. And so it was really cool to meet him, work with him, and that's my show and tell.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I wish I kept. I don't know what I did with mine. We had great seats for that show. That was
Yeah,
a show.
they were awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
And
Eric.
Yeah, we had amazing seats for that show.
Yeah.
The thing that I regret not buying is a hoodie.
I bought the hoodie.
You
I
got
still
the
got
hoodie.
the hoodie. I still got the hoodie. Maybe I'll bring that next week.
So I'm gonna keep on Popa's sort of sentimental theme. And
Sorry, I gotta put my pinky fingers away here. All right.
I'm going to keep on Popa's sentimental routine a little bit, because actually this one involves you a little bit too, which is this is really special to me. So if you know anything about my magic and my career and how I got into magic, I watched the World's Greatest Magic 4 on NBC in the early 90s, and the magician who was my absolute favorite on that particular episode of that was Leonard Green. He did his full FISM act on television, and the laser deal was the thing that really blew me away. I mean, I remember watching that and going, that's what I want to do. I want to do that kind of magic. And it wasn't until a lot longer later that I actually learned how to do the snap deal, the laser deal, and that move had really sort of catapulted my career. I ended up using that move to win the IBM in 2018. It got me on Penn and Teller Fool Us. But a really special thing was one of the very early Penguin Magic Lives was Leonard Green's lecture. And Nick and I were friends, and so Nick told me about it. He got me into the theater ahead of time so I could actually spend some time with Leonard Green. And if you go back and watch the Leonard Green Penguin Live, when he starts to teach card sleights and do stuff, he actually brings me up out of the audience. But he didn't really know how big of a fan I was. And so I'm literally like fanboying super hard on that.
Yeah, you're not hearing anything he's saying.
No, I'm just like, I'm just, oh my God, I'm just like vibrating and like.
Did you even have the beard in that clip?
No, I don't.
We should have that clip. I
I
didn't know you were going to bring that today. So,
but one of the things he talks about is puzzles, and he brought this puzzle, which is interesting. So actually, I think I'm gonna have to hold this up. So this is a puzzle, and the idea is you have to hold it flat in your hand, and there's a little wooden dowel in there, and you have to hold it flat in your hand or put it on a table, and then you have to get the dowel out. And you can try as you want. You like dig your fingertips in, and you can't get it out. And so you give this to someone, and it's like a brain teaser type puzzle thing, and you have to be able to get the dowel out without lifting it off a table or your hand or anything like that. And the solution is very interesting. What you do is you blow on it, and it pops right out because the dowel is made in such a way that it's loose around the outside, and there's just enough room, and the cone directs the air down so that excuse me, it pops right out. And what is so special to me about this is that this is the actual puzzle that Leonard Green uses in that Penguin Live to illustrate a number of principles. And it's autographed by Leonard on the bottom. And what's really special about this is that it was very shortly after I won the IBM with, like, the snap deal was heavily featured in the routine that I use on Penn and Teller Fool Us and all that stuff. Shortly after the IBM, Nick Lacapo found this and gave it to me to remind me of this. So I see this as like a token of that time, the one time I got to meet Leonard Green and my friendship with Nick Lacapo.
I was just cleaning out my basement, man. No. I'm so happy that it went to the right person.
Yeah,
right.
It means so much to me. It's one of my cherished possessions. It sits actually. So if you come into the house that I share with my partner, when you walk into our house and turn to the left, there's our fireplace with a mantle, and on that mantle is my IBM trophy, and right next to the IBM trophy is this particular puzzle.
Well, I don't know how you're going to top this next week on Show and Tell.
I have no
It's all
idea.
downhill from here.
I think I'll bring my own Chris Angel ticket stuff. Is what I'll do.
Well,
all right.
Should we move on?
All righty. Yeah, let's move on. Why don't you bring in the next one?
Number 5. Number 5 on the top 20 is Position Impossible by Brent Braun.
Who's that guy?
Well, I'm very familiar with Brent Braun. I've spent a lot of time with this guy. Happy birthday, Brent Braun. That's for sure as well. This is the best card number you can do, period. There's a clip here of Brent performing it on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. The way this goes is a card is chosen, the cards are spread on the table, a number is named, and the card ends up at that number. For me, this is the best way to do this trick. In fact, I brought my Position Impossible deck with me just so you guys can see. I think the card at number plot in general in Magic, especially when it comes to purchasing Magic, is like a highly contested plot. This is one of the most, what's the word I want to use here? This is one of the most elegant solutions to the plot without having to put in a whole lot of work. And let me just go through this so you guys can see just how genius this particular deck of cards is. Nick, can you put the overhead up here? So and just zoom out a little bit. One of the things when it comes to card at number, if you guys are familiar with the plot, is that a lot of times you have to have the cards in a certain order, maybe a memorized stack. And I just want to point out, first and foremost, that this is not in a stack order, okay? And in fact, not only is it not in a stack, there's no memorization in this whatsoever. If you were to think of any card, doesn't matter what card you think of, that card is here. This isn't a repeating stack. You're not going to see cards repeated over and over. All 52 cards are here, and if you were to just think of any card, that card is indeed in this deck of cards, all right? And I think that's one of the hang-ups a lot of times when it comes to people thinking about picking up this trick in particular. The card selection part, and you can come back to me and Erik here, I think is among the most fair ways you can have a card selected. And that is using this kind of dribble down thing, right? Where I say, hey, Erik, I'm just going to dribble the cards like this. I just want you to say stop, and we will get you a card, all right?
Okay.
So you'll say stop.
Stop.
Now, I always love this particular way of having a card selected because my body is like away from the deck. The spectator feels really comfortable in this scenario, especially if I say, hey, Erik, you want to go a couple more cards? I'm not like trying to make you stop.
Yeah, actually go a couple more.
Couple more. Right here?
Yep.
All right. And then you're going to show them the card. We're going to go a little bit further on this one, but you would show them the card.
Yeah.
And maybe cut to my camera there so you guys can see. So you're going to have the card selected like that, okay?
Yep.
So you guys have the card.
Yep.
And then it just goes back into the deck. Now, there's no breaks or anything here. You can even have the card shuffled at this point.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter.
Okay, that's an actual shuffle.
It's a real shuffle. There's no false shuffles here. And then what's really important, go back to the overhead, is that the cards are on the table before the number is ever named.
This is nuts.
Right? Okay, because now you can just name a number. Look,
It's really good.
It's a gimmick deck that does one trick.
Yep.
Let's say that up front. But it's the best way to do this trick as clean as possible.
It's insanely fair. If
Yeah.
you've seen Brent do it on Fool Us, you know that it's crazy fair.
Yeah.
I'm honestly a little surprised it didn't fool Penn and Teller because it's mixing so many methods here that it's just wild.
Yeah.
Now I do know that there.
Well, yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've had some late night discussions with Brent of that one right
Yeah.
there. But yes, yeah. Look, if you
what's-
like this style of a trick, this is the best way to do it.
And I think
hands down.
what's really interesting to talk about here is that there's also a new multi-phase stand-up routine that is by Gregory Wilson and David Grippenwald that is now
that also comes
included
with
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, and let's just go through the thing. No memorization, no mathematics, no stack deck, no sleight of hand, no rough and smooth, no sticky stuff, no switch. It's one deck, does this one trick, but it does it better than, any other method that exists out there.
All right,
Number
let's-
5.
let's-
Sorry, we went far on that one. That's my bad. Brent,
Let's-
we love you, and I wanted to make sure that we did that right.
Let's move on to number 4. This is Know It All by Danny De Ortiz. This is a fantastic new trick that has come out from Danny De Ortiz. This is a really amazing trick where spectators are cutting off packets of cards from the top of the deck. They're looking at the bottom card, holding it to their chest, hiding them, doing all kinds of things. Then the performer is able to name those the cards that they are merely thinking of straight to the spectators' faces.
Man.
It's so good. And
Yes.
the cool thing is you get a bonus prediction trick that's not even shown in the deck. You're getting so much value from this. And it's all that like Spanish, crazy Spanish style of magic, but Danny's made it super commercial, which is so much
We
fun.
were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like in the past couple of years, Danny's stuff I think it was always commercial. I just think he's got a way of explaining it maybe now. I don't know. I've always felt like he's a good teacher, but this trick is within everybody's grasp. Wow. Like this trick just looks like 3 people cut the packet of cards and look at that card, hold it against their chest, and you tell them what it is. It's an amazing, amazing trick. But there's also a prediction trick on there, and I'll just run through it.
Yeah.
Basically, the way that this trick would go, and you just cut to the wide here at Popa, is that I would lay 3 predictions on the table, like this, 3 cards on the table. The cards would get shuffled, shuffle, mixed.
It's your life.
Yeah, and then the cards get handed to the spectator. Danny says to them, name a number. They name 9. They deal down 9 cards. They say that they turn over the 9th card. It's the 6 of diamonds here. And then, of course, they'd turn over these 3 cards, and the 3 predictions that he had at the beginning would be the other 3 sixes, right? So it's just another, like, Danny came here and filmed a bunch of tricks with us, but it's a long story
that is not interesting to anybody watching.
But it's good for you because you're going to get an additional trick with this download, which is what you should know. On Know It All, it's not just one trick; it's actually 2 completely separate tricks for really no good reason. The one thing that ties them together is his what does he call it? It's the knowing the how.
Yeah.
It's not even written on there, but knowing the how. He talks about a theory of his called knowing the how, which is used in both of these routines, which is why they had some sort of, I
think the thing to take away from this is that this is a very Danny trick in that, it seems like there's a lot of chaos going on, but then all of a sudden it becomes clear. And it's done in such a way that the audience is left flabbergasted. They'll have no idea how it's working.
Mm-hmm. Moving on. We're in the top 3, Eric.
Oh, we're closing in.
The top 3. Number 3 this week, which was number 1 last week, is Remote Miracle. Man, this is a virtual effect that can be done over Skype, Zoom. I mean, it can be done in person as well. We watched this live with Mr. Tango last week.
Look at us wearing
here
sport
he is,
coats.
revealing the card for us. And he got both of our cards at the same time. We have no idea how it happens. I think we both got up and left at this point, right? This is like some David Blaine style reaction for virtual, at least. I think. So at the time, we were not familiar with the trick. We watched this live last week on the show.
Yeah, I think that what happened was we've been trying to up the production value of the show, because if these graphics aren't enough for you, I don't know what is. But we've always wanted to get someone in here live, and Mr. Tango was very fortunate he's kind of a tech savvy dude, and so we said, hey, we're going to try this Skype thing. Would you please perform your trick for us? And when he said yes, we said, then we don't want to know. We don't want to know.
We didn't watch the trick.
We very specifically didn't watch the trick.
So you can actually go back to the last video that we did. I guess it's on Facebook. I think these are where these are hosted.
Yep.
And you can watch a full performance of this. We were fooled, genuinely. I mean, we were talking about it for quite a bit after the show. Like, well, it had to have been this or that, but still didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Mr. Tango is doing here that is hiding methods, which is really cool. And each of us was right, but we're missing portions of it. And it was interesting because we kind of have the same magic brain at this point because we've been hanging out together for so long. So we know a lot of the same methods.
So he did it once for me.
Yeah.
And then he did it again for both of us.
That was what really messed me up. And
he did it for me the same way, but he had you just think of the card the second time, and it still worked. I went back and watched the download this week. Mm-hmm. We were close-ish, still not quite there. Mm-hmm. This is a really cool secret.
Yeah.
It's a really cool secret. This is right up there with Virtual Triumph in my mind, because it's not, this isn't something that you watch and then immediately can do.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is the case for a lot of virtual tricks.
Yeah.
Because that's just how they work. You do them, you just mirror them, and they work back. Virtual Triumph doesn't do that. This doesn't do that as well, right? This is a really great download.
I can see Mr. Tango here in the chat. He says, next week I'll introduce Remote Revenge.
Yes, Mr. Tango, I saw that on the email. We're going to make this happen. We just have to work it out, right?
What did we do to you that you have to get revenge on us after that?
Revenge?
Man. Let's move on right now to number 2. I am very excited to talk to you about this. This is Backfire by R. Paul Wilson. Woo! This is super cool. R. Paul Wilson released a trick many, many years ago. I think this was almost 20 years ago now, called Ricochet. And Ricochet was a smash hit where you had 4 kings and 4 aces. The audience got to choose what would do the magic, the kings or the aces. Whatever they said, you placed it on a silk out in front of you. You then showed them the other cards. One at a time, those cards changed places. The kings for the aces. And when you ask them what are the cards, if the kings are here, then what is here, and they say the aces, you invite them to turn it over. They're staring back at the kings, and you are once again holding on to the aces with a kickback.
Yeah, you can watch this change right here. He's got the aces in his hand. He says, well, these must be the kings, right? Nope, they're the aces, and now he's got the kings in his hand.
This is so good. And what I have to say is you're getting a really great instructional video by R. Paul Wilson. you're also getting gimmicked cards. If you own Ricochet, you cannot do Backfire with the Ricochet gimmicks because R. Paul Wilson very specifically designed the Ricochet gimmicks to work so that you actually remove quite a bit of the sleight of hand that was required in Ricochet. For anyone who got a hold of Ricochet and was like, oh, I'm not sure if I can be able to do that, Backfire makes the effect easier and stronger at the same time. There's still a little bit of sleight of hand involved, and I believe R. Paul teaches you how to end clean. I could be wrong on that.
Oh no, yeah, of course he does. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
you end completely clean with the spectators examining the kings and the aces.
Yeah, but it's wildly good, and I think that this particular trick is.
R. Paul Wilson makes showpieces.
Yeah.
Period. With cards. I mean, maybe that's just my taste, my style. I don't think so. I think it's a lot more broad than that.
Yeah.
But I find that anything that he puts out, that he's really like, this is something that he's been doing, only him. He's kept this to himself.
Yeah.
He shows it to people.
Yeah.
But like, he hasn't released this for a reason because it is like so stinking strong.
Yeah.
I haven't done this for anybody yet.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot
It's so good.
wait to do this for people.
When he was here showing it to us, he showed this to me, and I actually said to him, "Why would you release this? Like, why would you give this to anybody else? Because this is because." When he goes, so whenever we film a download with someone, whenever we film any of the instructions, they always show it to us. They actually perform it to us so that we know what it is. And he goes, so this is a variation on Ricochet. So I knew what to look for. And then he did this, and it fooled the blazes.
Oh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
I want this to be in the top 20 the next bunch of weeks. I want to keep talking about it. I want to perform it for somebody. This is one of my favorite tricks that I've seen this year. But moving on, number one.
Number one.
We're already here. I mean, I guess we've been talking for a while. It can be time for number one, right? Time for number one, and there couldn't be a more deserving download. This is Fright by Jackie Yu. Oh man, I missed Jackie already. I can't believe that was this year.
Yeah.
It feels like so long ago. Jackie, I hope you're out there. Jackie Yu. This is a haunted deck, uses absolutely zero gimmicks. If you're familiar with haunted deck, usually you got some thread involved. Not that that's a bad thing, but man, this is a impromptu, ready, anytime you want to do a haunted deck, you can do this, and it's got a really crazy visual on it as well. I know you guys can see it here in the video. Look how good that looks.
The question we got leading up to this was, is there seriously no gimmick with this? And
Seriously.
the answer is seriously, yeah, there's no gimmick involved in this. Everything you're seeing is pure sleight of hand. It requires a little bit of sleight of hand that is a little more challenging, but I wouldn't say it's super difficult. You're not doing anything that is really out of this world. And Jackie's pretty clear in his instructions and exactly how to do stuff.
This is, I would say it's really pretty easy.
Yeah.
I get excited whenever we kind of cross this level of, it does require a little bit of dexterity. Because generally here at Penguin, we try to keep things as simple as can be.
Yeah.
It's just for a lot of reasons. Maybe that's another topic we can get into.
Yeah,
sometime.
I think a lot of the more challenging stuff that you see, a lot of the more like sleight intensive stuff ends up inside of the lectures because that's a better format for that.
It really is.
You know, when you're going through the lectures, there's actually more cameras in the room. We can get more angles. You've got Dan Harlan there to help clarify things because sometimes when you're learning a more challenging sleight, it's better if there's someone to like bounce the idea off of and sort of explain it in a couple different ways.
That's why it's a good topic. Maybe we'll write these topics down because like when you get into something that's hard, it requires more explanation. And if you're going to add more time to a download, like if you're going to spend $10 on an instant download, you kind of want it to be a digestible secret a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Where you can learn it fairly fast and all that. So there's a lot of variables that go into it. This isn't one of them. I mean, yes, it does require some things, which is why I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's a little outside of the typical trick that you would see from Penguin Magic, but it's still well within your reach. If you do Haunted Deck, or if you like Haunted Deck, you know how strong it is. You can do this.
Jackie is really inventive, and I think that this is one of those things that really showcases his inventiveness.
No gimmicks. Remind them. No gimmicks.
No
Zero
gimmicks.
gimmicks at all.
There's,
Great trick.
There's not a lot of pure sleight of hand effects that can get visuals this insane, and Jackie has just hit the nail right on the head.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
That's the show.
That is the show. I think we're going to be moving into the grand finale now. Nick, are you ready for the grand finale?
I've never been more ready for the grand finale.
All righty. Let's see. Mr. Popa, could we get some grand finale music, please?
Oh, man. We can hear it. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
This is so good.
We got 52 seconds on the clock.
52 seconds on the clock because that's what a grand finale takes. Are you ready?
I am, well, let me get more excited. Okay, all right.
Let's go. Happy birthday this week to Francis Minotti. That man is a Scrabbles bag worth of stuff.
Is that Brent Braun? Holy crap, happy birthday, Brent Braun. Torch restored to my man, Doc Doherty. Doc Doherty, how do you like that beard, Eric?
I love that beard. Let's go into the time machine. I think it was about a year ago, eclipsed by Dave Lucy.
Yeah, hold on loosely, one of my good friends from England there. This is a great trick. I want to get him back to film Eclipse 2.0. Tonight, streaming live on the internet, the AMA Awards right now, actually.
Yeah.
Who you got for Stage Magician of the Year, Eric?
To me, I want to say that, I really want it to be Carissa Hendricks, but I think they actually already announced it, and it is somebody else. But
Somebody else.
let's go. But let's talk about Penguin Live. We're back next week. We're going to be filming somebody here live in the studio from Chicago. Do you know who it is?
I do. His name's right there. And what are you buying this week?
I'll tell you what I'm buying. I'm buying Backfire.
Yeah?
Yeah, what are you buying?
Maybe the mental dice.
Maybe the mental dice?
Yeah, mental dice.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Penguin Live Top 20 Countdown. I just want to say a quick congratulations to Danny J.R.T. for winning Lecturer of the Year. Congratulations to Chris Capehart, Aussie Wind, Angelo Carbone, Avels Ruda, Erica Larson, Alan Zargorski, and Ray Crow for all winning tonight at the Academy of Magical Arts, their award show, the 52nd annual award show. Congratulations to all the winners over there at the Magic Castle Awards. I'm Erik Tate alongside Nick Lacapo and Nick Popa. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.